So today is October the 18th, and at this point, I have gone 6 straight days with winning days in trading, and this is the seventh day trading. And it started off very well, and then it went downhill. As you can see, we started off with a balance of $1,600 over 50,000, and it's about to become 1,700 with this trade on Dow Jones. According to my strategy, I went for $100, which is just 20 points, and I was able to make it. And then, like I said, after that, it was one mistake after another, and I just went downhill from there. And it didn't quite go well for this day, and this was my first day of having a lost day. So hopefully you learn from this. Hopefully you see what's going on. I will break down in detail every single thing, but enjoy. So this is my second trade. I go in on NASDAQ, and usually, because of my strategy, I usually have to refresh my page to make sure that all of my signals and indicators are updated and proper and accurate. And I was overly eager, and I think part of it was because of the day before where I made no trades because all of my opportunities ran. And I think out of fear that this was going to run, I went in hastily. I did not refresh my page. And when I eventually refreshed my page, I realized that it was not my entry point. So this was a really, really costly mistake, and it cost me $600. So as you can see, I refreshed the page, and once that happened, I realized that I was in on the wrong trade. It was not my entry point. It was not my strategy. It was not what I was supposed to do. It was a big mistake. But you know, the market doesn't care if you make a mistake. I got punished and I lost big time, $600 to be exact. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. I could have just come out once I realized it was a mistake, but I didn't. I had some wishful thinking that it was going to go into a slight profit and I would take out a slight profit. I guess I didn't want to lose at all because I was kind of mad that I made a mistake, and I didn't have to lose the $600 to be honest with you, but I did because again, I was too eager, and I started to feel a bit of FOMO, and I didn't want to lose out on any gains that I could get from it because of my mistake. But at the end, it cost me, as you're about to see. So lesson learned on this, and the takeaway is that next time, whenever I see that it's no longer my strategy and something changes, I get out immediately to not incur any further losses. So my third entry came as a result of, again, having the right setup. I did all the refreshing this time and all of that, and this worked out. But there is a way that I manage my risk. And what happens is that if my first trade does not go well, which is a $300 trade every 10 points on NASDAQ, I go down to 200 every 10 points on NASDAQ. And that's what I did here. So I was able to make a good $200 on this to cut down my losses, my $600 losses. So it brought it down a little bit. And so net, I was losing $300 after this trade. So this trade went well, went in the right direction, and I was able to essentially make what I needed to make on this trade. So hopefully you can enjoy this. But this was, I think, the last best trade that I made for the day, and I think everything after this point just led to a downward spiral, and it was just ugly to say the least. But enjoy this. And so this was my next trade. I believe this was my fourth trade. Again, it was a very good entry point, but I had a different problem here. It was a mistake, but not a mistake that I could have seen. My entry point was 1 or 2 ticks away. That's because I actually got to within 1 or 2 ticks of my TP. So it never hit my TP. I got within 1 or 2 ticks, and then it reversed, and then it hit my stop loss, and I lost big because, as you know, on an Apex account, it's all unrealized trailing. So if you were in the green and you all of a sudden reversed into the red, you lose even more because you're losing all of that green plus the red. And so I ended up losing big time. And so these two trades, those 2 losing trades that I had, really lost me a lot of money. So at the end of it, I lost $900. And I had to stop for the day. I was trading with 2 PAs. And so I stopped with the 1. And unfortunately, I continued with this one. And you're going to see as it unfolds what I was doing. But yeah, take a look at this. So what I learned in the last trade that just happened is that next time when I get to within 1 or 2 ticks and it starts to reverse, I should just quickly come out to not incur the losses, or at least put myself to some small gain with my stop loss. So if it ever actually fully reverses, then I'm not losing big. So I will have to incorporate that moving forward. So those are 2 lessons that I learned from the 2 losing trades. Always refresh and never allow it to reverse if it gets very close to your TP and starts to reverse in the other way. Never allow it to go all the way to a losing trade. So this was the next trade that I took, and this was also a good trade. It just didn't work out. I essentially went in at the place I always go in, and it just completely reversed on me. Generally speaking, after a certain point, usually around 2 p.m., the strategy starts to lose its efficiency in the trade, and I paid for it dearly. And also, I believe out of desperation, I started to do other trades as well, which we're going to also look into. So I should have stopped, which is what I did with one of the PA accounts, but I didn't do it with this account, and I paid dearly for it. And I think moving forward, part of my risk management is to just simply stop, which is what I was going to do. But I allowed my revenge trading and my desire to make as much of my money back as possible to get in the way. And of course, as you all know, it never goes well. It hardly ever goes well. Take a look. So that previous trade actually was the typical hit your stop loss and then go in the right direction. So, at this point, psychologically and mentally, I'm probably not in a good place because I've lost money that I shouldn't have lost. And now in this one, I particularly felt that the market rigged me. And I definitely went into revenge trading on this next trade. I completely threw my strategy out of the window and I went and started doing all kinds of foolishness. And so I decided that I was going to get in on a pullback. There was no reason for me to get in on the pullback. There was no actual understanding of what I was doing. It was way outside of my strategy, but I still did it because at this point, I just wanted to get my money back because it hit my stop loss and then ran in the right direction. And so what I did here was an absolute disaster, and I also paid for it as well. Watch. And of course, the foolish trades continue. Again, I do another trade that's outside of my strategy, but one of my older ones. I do the highs and lows. I do a buy zone strategy, but again, this is not a strategy I'm comfortable with. It's not a strategy that I've mastered, and I did it. I'm not even sure what happened here, but again, at this point, I'm doing different things. Now, though I went on tilt, I did not go fully on tilt because I did size down, and this was how I was able to save the account from blowing. So one of the key things that you can do as a trader, if you even go on tilt, if you can get to a point where you can have self-control to at least size lower after big losses, you will be able to save your account, and that's what I was able to do here. So even though I was doing really foolish trades, I was doing it with much smaller sizes because I understood that the risk was a lot higher, and that helped me to manage my risk even at the point where I was doing really, really silly things. And so check this out as well. Again, this is another trade outside of my trade. Again, I had enough presence of mind, even though I was revenge trading, to be able to size lower. But again, this was outside of my strategy and I still went for it. Again, win or lose, it's still a bad trade, and I just did bad trade after bad trade. I did some good trades, but for the most part, they were bad trades. And so also take a look at this. So this next one was a good trade, but like I had said earlier, my edge gets inefficient and ineffective after 2 p.m. Less volume, less volatility, things like that. And so at this point, I don't think it'll actually worked for this, but this was a great entry. This fit all of my what matches my edge and the game plan. But again, after 2 p.m. it doesn't work as well, and so I believe I lost here as well, and at least I sized down. So again, the losses weren't as bad as they should have been. Quite frankly, if I continued to size large, I probably would have blown this account. So again, it's important to learn that risk management involves finding ways to make sure that you sustain your account until you are actually able to do what you need to do, which is to pass the account and actually get paid. Okay, so take a look. So this one also is outside of my strategy. As you can see a pattern here, I was doing all kinds of things because I was trying to make my money back. Most of my strategy is very rare. It doesn't come up this often. So I had to try other strategies that I had used in the past, strategies that I'm still testing. And this is one of them that I'm still testing, which is the PACs, price action concepts, where that shows me buy and sell zones at different points in time. And so I decided to go in on the NASDAQ. Now I have tested it and I found that on the Dow, it works the best, but on NASDAQ, it kind of works too as well. Except in this case, I don't know if it did work, but I tested everything. So take a look. Again, this was another pack play as well. Same thing, I tried it out, and again, take a look. Most times it works on NASDAQ, but it works a lot better on Dow. But again, I tried it at a more at a less risky spot on the pack. which is at the bottom of the buy zone. And also take a look at this and check it out. So this was my final trade, and as you can see, I over traded. I usually do 1 to 2 trades a day. This was 12 trades, so that's at least 6 to 12 times what I do, which is obviously over trading, and which is obviously because I went somewhat on tilt. I was revenge trading, trying to get my money back, and I was doing all kinds of things. But at least in this particular case, I followed my strategy, was completely my strategy, except for the fact that I was trading outside of 2 p.m., which is outside of my strategy, but otherwise it went really well. And I think this also ended up as a win. Nevertheless, even though I was able to bring my balance back over 50,000, I could have saved myself the headache of losing that much. I basically lost my entire gains for the 6 trading days that I traded, which is really, really draining mentally and psychologically as well. But understand that I did not blow my account, and I was able to keep my account in survival mode because I sized down. This is key. If you ever find yourself doing a lot more than you need to do, you can size down and still keep your account even if you're emotionally charged and you're revenge trading or FOMO trading. This is very important. It's key. And so I was able to sustain and keep my account, and I'm hoping that I will revive it in time. But again, this is essentially what my lost day looked like. Hopefully this doesn't happen again. Hopefully I learned from it, and hopefully you learned something from it as well. So again, I have to always refresh my page. I have to always make sure that I'm getting it at the right entry point. If I am a few ticks away, 1 or 2 ticks away, and it starts to reverse, I need to get out immediately, and I need to stop revenge or FOMO trading when things don't go my way. Once I do these things, I will definitely pass my Apex funding account and I will get paid. And so until next time, keep trading, keep striving, and you will get there. We will get there. Okay, take care, and we'll see you until tomorrow next time. Take care.